Okay, hi. So this is the third video. We're going to talk about the golf ball. So after we determined the density of the ping pong ball, we were going to compare that with a golf ball. So up here from last time, we determined that the density of the ping pong ball was 0.5 grams per cubic centimeter. So those are your units for density. It's how much stuff that would be 0.5 grams of matter for every cubic centimeter in the ping pong ball. That's how much matter is in every 1 cubic centimeter of the ping pong ball. So if I looked at the ping pong ball, which I have over here, for every cubic centimeter, if I find one little piece of it, that's how much mass or matter I would find in it. Okay? So we're going to look at the golf ball next, which I have over here. There's a reason they're over here. And the golf ball is the same volume as the ping pong ball. Okay, they were the same size, but they have a different mass. Okay, and I chose ping pong balls and golf balls because almost everybody's familiar with the relative weight or mass of each of these, knowing that the ping pong ball feels lighter in your hand than the golf ball. Okay, so the golf ball, it's the same formula. You have to know the mass and you have to know the volume. So it turns out that I took a scale and I measured the mass of my golf ball, and it was right here. So we're going to use the mass. The mass was 100 grams, okay, because it's rather heavy, remembering that a gram is about a paperclip, okay? And the volume is exactly the same as the ping pong ball. They're the same size. They take up the same amount of space. And the volume of the ping pong ball was 2 cubic centimeters, 2 centimeters cubed. Again, remembering that it is a regular solid, and so I used a formula to get the volume of this, okay? All right, and when I divide, I just divide 100 grams by 2 centimeters, and the result is going to be, for my density of my golf ball, is going to be 50 grams per cubic centimeter. Okay, because 100 divided by 2 is 50, so it's 50 grams per centimeter. Again, there's my density units, and you should be able to identify the units of density. It's not mass, it's not volume, it's its own units, grams per either milliliter or grams per cubic centimeter, or liters. So, all right, so there we are. Now, what this tells us is if you actually look at the math, it tells you that the density of the ping pong ball is much less than the density of the golf ball. So there's 50 grams of matter for every cubic centimeter that is in this golf ball. So that's 50 of them, as opposed to 0.5, a half of the mass is, only 0.5 for the same amount of space. And this is 50 and 0.5. So it's quite a bit different. Okay, so the density. So if you recall from the other video, and if not, then I'll refresh your memory. If you wish to watch the little cartoon video, the density of water. Does anybody remember the density of water? That's right, it's 1. Okay, so the density of water is 1 gram per milliliter. All right, and it turns out that a milliliter is exactly the same thing as a cubic centimeter. I will tell you that if I could melt down a cubic centimeter of a metal, for example, this, if I could get 1 cubic centimeter of this and melt it down, it would take up the volume, a liquid volume of exactly 1 milliliter. So they are identical. If you could melt down a cubic centimeter of the golf ball, it would be actually 1 milliliter. They're equal in that sense. But anyway, the density of water, turns out, is 1 gram per milliliter. So that means if I have, let me just go with this, if I had 50 grams of water, okay, it would take up exactly 50 milliliters of space. Okay, if I had 1,000 grams of water, it would take up exactly 1,000 milliliters of space. It's always going to divide out to be 1. Okay, so the larger the volume, the more it's going to weigh, and so that is why density is what we call an intensive property. It does not change with the amount that you have. All right, here we go. So golf ball is 0.5 grams per centimeter. That's the density. The density of water is 1. So we should expect the golf ball to float in water. It's less dense than water. And sure enough, there it is. It's floating right on top. The golf ball is 50 grams per cubic centimeter. So for every cubic centimeter in the golf ball, there's 50 grams of matter in it, packed in there. Okay? So we should expect the golf ball much greater than 1. Okay? Remembering that the density of water is 1. So we should expect the golf ball to sink, and sure enough, there it goes. It sinks right to the bottom. Okay, so now you have the density of water, you have the density of a ping pong ball, and you have the density of a golf ball. And I hope that was helpful.